Hi guys, and welcome back here to Drone Emotion, a channel where we do drone videos and where we cover the most relevant drone news. Today my friends, come back here once again with a brand new video, and pretty much by now I'm aware that all of you have seen the brand new DJI Air 2, but there are many things that DJI is not telling you and that they're not advertising, and that is exactly what we're going to be sharing in today's video. All of that stuff that DJI is not telling you and hiding from you, in today's video we're going to be sharing it with all of you, and it's some pretty important info, guys. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because in this channel we'll always be the first ones to bring you the latest drone news no matter what. And also, if you're new to the channel, I invite you to go ahead and subscribe so that you can help us get to our next goal of 10,000 subscribers, guys. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and dive right into today's video, which is going to be quite exciting. Well, the DJI Air 2 was just announced this morning. This drone right here on screen. So that drone is based off the original Mavic Air 2 that was launched last year. We saw all those nice little things, guys, you know, that 1-inch sensor, the 5.4K, but there are a lot of things that DJI is not telling us about this new drone, and in today's video we're going to be sharing with you all of that info. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the first thing. So we do know that we have a 1-inch sensor camera, which is definitely a huge improvement over the DJI Mavic Air 2. Now a lot of people might be thinking, on the new Air 2, do we have Hasselblad color grading? Well, we do not have Hasselblad color grading on the DJI Air 2. So for all of those people that were thinking we got the Hasselblad, well, we don't have it. Something else, guys, a lot of people were hoping that we were going to be getting a variable aperture, and a lot of people think that this drone might actually have a variable aperture, but well, this drone has a fixed aperture of f2.8, which is the same as what we find on the Mavic Air 2. So therefore we cannot adjust the aperture of the drone, and this is something quite important for all of those amateur and professional photographers out there. So this might be a deal breaker for all of those in the pro level market. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about quality of the pictures. This new DJI Air 2 is able to deliver true 20 megapixel images. But when you compare that to the Mavic Air 2's images, which are 48 megapixels, you might think that's a downgrade, right? Well, and yes, in fact, because the pictures will not be 48 megapixels on the new Air 2, there will only be 20. Now, a lot of people will argue, well, the DJI Mavic Air 2 pictures are not actually true 48, and that is because the Mavic Air 2 achieves 48 megapixels by pixel binding and taking one 12 megapixel picture and stitching it together, and then that's how it's able to form that 48 megapixel. But at the end of the day, it's a 48 megapixel picture and the quality is really good. Now, in order to compensate for that, we have that 1-inch sensor, so when you shoot in low light scenarios, you're gonna be definitely seeing a big difference. Now, the difference between these two drones in images are quite unnoticeable, but you will see a tiny bit of difference between these two drones, guys. Now let's talk about frame rate, and also the DJI Air 2, which has now been available. The link, in case of any of you guys want to go ahead and buy it, it will be down below, the first link in the description, guys, to the official DJI store. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the frame rate when shooting at 1080p, guys, and that is that with the Mavic Air 2 we can actually shoot at 1080p at 240 frames per second. And when you compare that to the new Air 2s, with the new Air 2 you can only shoot at 1080p at 120 frames per second. So that's actually a downgrade, and this is most importantly for when you're trying to shoot that slow motion, because in slow motion, the higher the frame rate, the better your footage is going to be looking. So keep that in mind, guys. That's something DJI is not telling us. We're seeing a downgrade on 1080p frame rate. Now let's talk about flight time, guys, on the new Air 2, something that DJI also doesn't advertise quite a lot, and that is that the flight time has actually been reduced from the original Mavic Air 2, and that is for me one of the biggest deal breakers, guys, or at least that's what breaks my heart the most, and that is that we get a 31-minute flight time with the DJI Air 2. I think that's definitely unbelievable, and especially because it's the same flight time that we got with the Mavic Mini and with the Mavic 2 Pro, which are drones that are almost 3 years old. So a drone that's 3 years newer than those drones that I just mentioned, I think that that's really not acceptable, at least in my opinion. I know you're gonna be saying you do get that 1-inch sensor. I'd rather take the camera rather than the flight time, but flight time is extremely important, guys, and for me it's one of the most important things when talking about a drone: flight time and transmission system. And well, it has been reduced from 34 to 31, so I just kind of wanted guys to let you know of that. Now, it's not a huge difference, but it's just a tiny bit difference. You're gonna be seeing around a 3-minute difference when actually flying your drone, guys. Now, let's talk about weight. This new DJI Air 2 is actually heavier than the previous Mavic Air 2. It went from 575 gram weight over to a 595 gram weight, so definitely a bit heavier, guys. Now, let's talk about smart controller compatibility. Now, a lot of people were thinking, and me personally, we never expected that the smart controller was going to be compatible with the new DJI Air 2S, because that controller was only compatible with OcuSync 2.0, and this new Air 2S utilizes OcuSync 3.0. But as of right now, guys, we can confirm that the DJI smart controller will be compatible with the DJI Air 2S, and in fact the update is now available, so you can actually go ahead and update your smart controller as we are speaking right now, guys. So those are great news, definitely. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And also, the controller from the original Mavic Air 2 and from the Mini 2 are compatible with the DJI Air 2S. So hopefully, I'm hoping that DJI just sells the drone so that we Mavic Air 2 owners or Mini 2 owners can actually use our controller and save some money on that aspect. So hopefully, cross our fingers that in the future we get just a standalone drone version of the Air 2S, guys. Now, let's talk about motion controller and B2 Goggle compatibility. We mentioned in our previous videos that we knew that these were going to be compatible. Now, when this drone was launched, DJI mentioned nothing about compatibility, but they said, DJI confirmed to us that they are working on making the B2 goggles and the motion controller compatible in the near future. So as of right now, it's not compatible, but it will come as a future update. So those are also pretty good news, because with the Mavic Air 2 we could not use FPV goggles with this drone. So with the new one, we will be able to do so in the near future, as we just mentioned, guys. Also, let's talk about a big issue here, and that is that when we're shooting at 4K with this new DJI Air 2S, the 1-inch sensor will not be fully used, and that is because a little cropping will be happening. So I just wanted to share that info with all of you. Also, there is no zoom in photos. We don't know why that is, but we have never seen photo with any DJI drone, but just want to share you that with you. And also, we will not have zoom in 5.2K, and that is because DJI advertises 8x zoom, but we do not have 8x zoom with 5.2K. So I just wanted to let you guys know those are all of the things that are really not advertised with this new DJI Air 2S, and I just wanted to bring those news out to you guys. Well, that's gonna wrap up today's video. In case you want to pick yourself a DJI Air 2S, the link is going to be down in the description. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Drone Emotion, signing out.